to do a flight training update because I really haven't done any updates since my last aviation upload. It has taken me a little bit longer than I thought to finish my private pilot's license, but I am about 60 to 70% of the way done. So I'm gonna catch y'all up to speed on everything right now. I decided I wanted to be a pilot when I was 19 working at JetBlue, and honestly my first attempt was trying to get into the Gateway program because I thought it would be a little bit easier since I already worked there. So I got to the last round of interviews and ended up getting a no because it was assumed that I was gonna drop out of college to go through the program, which I was, but I ended up getting a no. So the good news is that I finished college. Honestly, I probably wasn't going to get into the program because I was 20, I didn't have any money, and I didn't have anyone to co-sign on a loan. But the icing on the cake was that I had $25,000 in credit card debt, so nobody was gonna give me anything at 20 years old. For the next few years, I worked part-time at JetBlue as a gate agent. I was in school full-time for college, and I also was a full-time leasing agent. At night, as I was working the RON shifts, I would bring my books with me and I would study while I was waiting for the planes, and then in the morning I would get up and go to the leasing office. And then eventually I was just kind of looking at the numbers, and I told myself $12.50 at the time at JetBlue and then $16 at the leasing office. This is not ever gonna add up to help me to survive because I have been also on my own since I was 18 trying to like live. How am I ever gonna do this? At the time, I had six months of working in my small business, and eventually at 6 months, and COVID was happening with the airlines, it was a whole hot mess, I decided to quit both of my jobs and I went full-time with my business. And honestly, it's the best decision I could have possibly made. A lot of people, which from an outsider perspective, I get it. You're like, you quit both of your jobs and you have all that debt to make candles, but you're gonna have to just trust me because like, it sounds nuts, but literally I did the thing, right? So I'm not trying to push religion on y'all, but honestly, I had a conversation with God and pretty much was like, if you allow me to pay off this debt, I know you want me to go into a program, and if you allow me for some way to pay off this debt and save enough money to go to school, to go like Part 61 and fly locally, then I know you want me to do that, which I'm like, okay, I'm definitely gonna go into a program, right? So after it kind of got to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm about to be able to pay off my student, or to pay off the credit card debt, I started looking to ATP and to United Aviate and just reapplying to JetBlue Gateway because I was open to traveling to go to school. Like, I'm like, this has been my dream, I'm willing to do it, right? And so that's when I made the video about United Aviate because I was thinking about it. Something's telling me that, you know, I shouldn't do this, like I should do something else. Well, listen, in a nutshell, I'm not gonna bore y'all with the entire story, but my business picked up and I, by the grace of God, have been able to pay off my credit card debt, which I've sacrificed pretty much my entire 20s to do because now I'm 27, but also save enough money where I don't have to go into debt for flight school. So I'm so grateful. But that has pretty much been the reason why I have been so stagnant in my flight training, and it's because I had to lean into my business so that I could pay for it. Literally, the past few months have been so hectic with like just social media and my business. Recently had my first solo flight, which went very well. Honestly, I don't understand, but like my solo landing was by far the best landing I ever had. It was like butter. I was floating for a little bit, but like, I don't know if maybe because my instructor wasn't in the plane with me and I was just so hyper focused, but literally the most buttery landing. So I soloed at about 25 hours. Honestly, it took me much longer to solo than I thought it would. But the reason why is because I was so inconsistent. I initially started by flying about 2 times a week, and then I went to Switzerland for a little bit, and then my instructor went away for a little bit. They ended up repaving the runway at the airport like closest to my house, so I had to drive about an hour away to go to another airport. My instructor, I was ready to solo, but he didn't want to solo me there. He would have preferred for me to do it at the home airport, which I was cool with. So we ended up working on like cross-country stuff during that time. And so like I just recently did my solo flight, but I've been ready for it for a long time. Honestly, I'm very confident in my flying, but I need to spend more time in the books, and I'm honestly ready to take my written, but I've just been a freaking chicken about it because I want to score so high on the test. So that's been like keeping me back, but he's been encouraging me to take it at least in the next 2 weeks. However, I told him that I don't want to fly right now at this moment until I am much more prepared to take the written, which I feel like I will be in the next week. So that's pretty much where I'm at with the flight training. I should be even doing my solo cross-country flight really soon. And after I take the written, we'll be having discussions about scheduling the check ride. Right now, the check ride schedule is pushed back about a month. So being that it's already February, if I was ready today, it would probably be early March. But I'm honestly aiming towards early April. I'm really not rushing anything. I decided that I wanted to fly when I was 19, and honestly, it's always been something, a reason why I couldn't do it, mainly financially, but like I always used to have thoughts of, man, if I started when I was 19, I could have been done by now, you know, and I always have those conversations with myself, and I have to quickly talk myself out of it because I'm like, girl, if you would have finished, then you wouldn't have been able to start your business. You wouldn't have been able to buy a house and like have all the fun that you did. Well, I didn't get to party and stuff because I was hustling, but in the same sense, like all the things that I've been able to experience and learn about myself and books that I've read and like all the other things that give me joy, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I'm just grateful that I was able to pull through by myself without any handouts, because this has been a fucking crazy ass journey for me. Honestly, like I'm not gonna cry, but I'm just saying, like, I'm going to eventually. Probably at the finish line I'll cry, but I still gotta grind. I wanted this to be an update because I haven't quit flight training. Honestly, it's just life pulling me in different directions. So that's pretty much just it in a nutshell. My goals for this year is to finish my private and my instrument. And I should be done with the private in the next 2 months, and that's what I'm working really hard at. My current plan is to study about 2-3 hours a day on the written and then for the oral until I get to the finish line. But I'm very confident in my maneuvers and like actually flying the plane, so I'm not really worried about that. I honestly just wanted to give y'all the Spark Notes version of what's been going on with my flight training these past few months, as well as offer some encouragement to those that it might be taking you a little bit longer, or like financing is an issue, or like you're trying to learn how to study all over again. Like, I get it. It is completely difficult to do this, and as long as you have the determination, you can do it. It is not easy though. So I appreciate y'all hanging today. Honestly, I was thinking about the direction that I want my channel to go, and I never wanted to feel inauthentic to me to, like, you know, even just talk about aviation 100% of the time. So you're gonna see a mix of things, whether that's business, aviation, and just personal development in general, just getting 1% better every day, and I'll bring y'all along with me and even teach y'all some things along the way. If that sounds like your groove, make sure you hit the subscribe button. But let me know in the comments where you are with your flight training, what brought you here, and where you're currently at, and I'll see y'all in the next one.